Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Girl MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, we're just going to dive right on in. We start out with NXT making its debut on the CW network. And if you've been reading I guess you could say, if you've been reading the reports, major success for NXT on the CW on network television, almost a little shy under 1 million people. If you round it up, it's about 900,000 that got to see it, 895,000 total, but it did peak at 950,000 right at the very beginning, and we'll tell you why 950,000 people were watching the match, watching the show, because it peaked at that point. So let's talk about it. NXT from Chicago, Illinois at the Allstate Arena, formerly the Rosemont Horizon, on the CW. Started out with a promo segment by Shawn Michaels, just welcoming the people, welcoming the new era, and introducing two new championship belts. That's right, with a new show, a new network, they decided, let's go with some new NXT championships for the men and the women. So we got new NXT championships. Then he was about to say, I got one question for you. And we heard the voice of Papa H. Crowd in Chicago goes nuts as they hype up the crowd, saying, "Are you ready?" And we go right into the first fight of the night, the NXT Women's Championship, Roxanne Perez versus Julia. And the match was so good that this is where they peaked. 950,000 of you great fans saw this match as it went down. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 12 minutes and 59 seconds, a hair under 13 minutes, and still the NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. However, we can't call it a clean win. There was a little help. She did get help, by the way, of a returning Cora Jade. She's back in NXT, and she helped the Prodigy get over the beautiful madness that is called Julia. Okay, now, there's a lot of things that needs to be deciphered. A lot of things that needs to be unpackaged here. For one, there's there is a mixed bag of feelings. For one, a lot of people are not happy that Julia did not win the belt on the first night. Some people thought that should have been a shock moment. We would have had, the turning of a new era, whatever you want to say. Two, there is a lot of excitement for the return of Cora Jade. A lot of people were going absolutely bonkers on the internet that Cora was back in NXT. But number three, and most importantly, Roxanne Perez just took out one of the big three. The three biggest signings that's coming to NXT, and Roxanne just took one down. That's a feather in the cap. Now, you can say whatever you want about how she did it, but she did it. She had Pop Rocks. She got the 1, 2, 3. She beat Julia. That's the end of the discussion in my mind. I know I'm going to get pushed back by Michael Bullock. I know I'm going to get pushed back by Anthony Florio. But the thing is, it fades the narrative. And it beats the purpose of what went down. I called it. I said that if NXT was smart, you will let Roxanne go over. You give her the moment, you give her the win. I think the way they booked it is absolutely perfect because of the fact it makes Julia still a contender. She's still a threat. You can give her another shot. It does open the door for her to get another opportunity at that championship. But you notice what happened after it happened. She talked about, and she was like, oh, wow, you thought I was gone and all this stuff. And she's like, the savior of the women's division is back. Roxanne Perez said, what the hell was that all about? And she's like, well, for one, you're still the NXT Women's Champion. You're welcome. Two, I'm sick and tired of seeing all these newbies running around. And it's time that we establish ourselves as the dominant. Roxanne Perez said, I respect that. Maybe we might be able to work together because we have a common bond now. There is a reason why we are basically we can work together. In other words, screw Stephanie Valcour, screw Delta, screw over Julia. This is our NXT. This is the NXT that we made bigger than anybody else. And we don't give a damn about all these new signings. Screw all this. This is our NXT, and we're about to show the newbies how it's really done. That's the premise that I'm getting from Roxanne Perez and from Cora Jade. They're working together. That's dangerous enough. To know that they want to take out the 3 new signings before they even get a chance, that's a bigger storyline to work with. That's something that we could actually get around. And we could actually see this is going to get interesting. And there might be another signing coming up down the pipeline that might actually even the odds and even help Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Now, there's some rumors going around about another signing or somebody coming down to help them out in that war. We don't know. It's all rumors. It's all hearsay. But this was a banger. This was a 3.5-star bout. Yes, I'm punishing it a little bit for the ending, but I said it going into this that Roxanne was going to be the champion. God damn it, do I love when I'm freaking right. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
When MF says something, folks, you take it to the bank. That's all there is to say on that. So
absolutely. When MF says something that's when he says it the way he does, you better take it to the bank. And unfortunately, Florio and I have learned that the hard way.
Yep. And we're gonna be eating that humble pie, and we're gonna like it. So
I think that slice of humble pie is really big. Fletch is serving a really big heaping of it to us.
Yeah. Yeah, and well deserved.
Because you and I, we were the ones that were saying, "Oh, Julia's going to be the one to dethrone Roxanne Perez," and yeah, we end up with egg on our face.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. All right, we got to get moving here because we got a lot to cover here tonight. So, all right, when Julia first signed with WWE, the hype began for a climactic battle between her and the Prodigy, and it was always going to be hard to live up to that. Perez and Julia worked a bout that was not clean WWE style, lacking a crisp edge to the action. However, it was not due to a lack of chemistry. In fact, the two kept their footing well throughout. Better results will come as they work together more. The execution will tighten up, and hopefully they will keep that fresh edge that is so foreign to NXT. The result was a genuine shock, though Stephanie Valcour's arrival was a tip-off last week. Cora Jade's arrival adds some complications to a suddenly loaded women's main event scene. This will not hurt Julia, who did not need an undefeated streak to become great. She will get another shot to take the gold and likely win the rematch as long as Valcour does not hop in front of her in the line. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade working together is a great move, and this surprise result establishes this reformed heel alliance at the top of the company. 3.5 stars. I 100% agree with the rating. So not much more to say. Mr. NXT, Michael Bullock, what a way to start your first show on the CW.
Yeah, 3.5 stars for me, and I don't know about you guys, but I think that I think Julia should get a rematch. I mean, because the thing is, she didn't lose cleanly. She's going to make the case that, hey, I lost unfairly because of Cora Jade. Now, whether
and I do believe that, yes, eventually I think she will get an opportunity at a rematch. But again, Stephanie Valcourt already declared herself as next contender.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, last week she made it.
So
she made her intentions loud and clear.
So I hate to say this, but Julia could get another shot at it, but I think she might have to wait for Stephanie Valcourt to get her shot because, like I said, she already called it. So,
but now the problem for Stephanie Valcourt, she may have to deal with Cora Jade now.
Yes,
because if this bond is going to happen, that could not only be bad news for Valcourt, but also for Delta. Or better than that, I'll even do you one better. It's bad news for the entire women's division.
Yeah.
I mean, you thought Fatal Influence was going to be sending a threat to the women's division. I think these two just sent even a bigger threat.
Yeah.
And Cora Jade's like, you know what? You want to come after Roxanne in the NXT title? You're going to have to go through me. And
but you also have to remember, Cora also have her own desires about getting the NXT Women's Championship for herself too. Because I kind of feel like she doesn't, like, she's saying the right things, but would I trust her enough to backstab Roxanne when it comes to that women's title? Absolutely not. I think she would easily backstab Roxanne Perez if it means to become the NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but it seems like Cora Jade's, I'm trying to say, I want to say this without offending someone or any women. I mean, you notice her, it's gotten bigger.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to be respectful.
I know where you're going. Where you're going. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the point about that?
Well, it seems like it's gotten bigger the last time we saw her before her unfortunate ACL injury. But anyways, I'll tell you what, Julia, I don't think Julia's going to get hurt by this loss. Although there are some people, and I've heard this, and I don't know what you guys think of this. Some people have said that she shouldn't have been thrown into this NXT women's title match right away, that she should have been slowly built up, because now that she lost, what do you do next?
Well, again, I kind of feel like, look, you're making a move to a new network, which was the CW, and you wanted it to make this the biggest event of the year. And in all intents and purposes, spoiler alert, they did it. It was an incredible show. We'll get into the rest of it.
I agree with that, but I'm just saying there are some people.
Wait. I'm getting to your point. Give me a second. I was answering your question. Just give me a second. The reason why I would give Julia that moment was because of the name recognition, because of what she did in Stardom, in Marigold, how incredible she is. She is deserving of the moment. Now, yes, they made her look strong. Yes, she did not win the title, but they did protect her. She could instantly demand a rematch and get another crack at the NXT Women's title. So for those people who are saying, oh, they got to build her up. No. I would have agreed with that before what I saw last night. What they did was completely acceptable. I am not mad at how the outcome happened. It was a screwy finish. She got robbed. So you can instantly demand, hey, she deserves another shot at the gold. What the hell was that? So I get where the fans are talking about, and I know some of the people are saying, Oh, you should have built her up? No, guys. The recognition and the star power that Julia possesses is why that match alone almost got 1 million views on network television. They wanted that match. The fan was clamoring for that fight. So they gave us a major jump off to start it. That's where I would play devil's advocate to all those fans out there.
And I'm with you on that. But unfortunately, in this world, they're going to be like, oh, it's almost, some people would say, oh, they just buried Julia. But the thing is, like you said, she lost it not cleanly because she got screwed by Cora Jade. So she's going to get in all essence, like you said, they did protect her, and she's going to get another opportunity. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Exactly. Total agreement.
3.5 stars. Let's move on.
Next up we had was a Chicago street fight. Wes Lee versus Zachary Wentz. Wes Lee wins the match in 13 minutes and 35 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Yes, 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Teetering on 4, honestly. Lee and Wentz brought it all for this chaotic street fight. It was a crash-filled spot fest with some dangerous landings that sold how much both men hated each other. In a rare statement for NXT, this bout may have been a bit too long. The heat was wearing thin down the stretch, but they ultimately brought it home to give Lee a massive win. This may be the end for the Rascals in all forms in NXT, which would be a shame. Zachary Wentz has shown out consistently in this feud, and he and Trey Miguel can still elevate themselves in the NXT tag team division. Meanwhile, Lee is likely to step up to the NXT championship scene. And outside of all ego Ethan Page, no one on the roster is better established to play the top heel role on the brand right now. So not much more for me to say. I'm gonna give this in excess of 3 3/4 to 4 stars, and you can make an argument for fight of the night if you really wanted to. It was really that good. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3.5 to 4. This was everything what we expected in a Chicago street fight. I mean, yeah, we saw a lot of weapons being used, and in the end, it was Wes Lee who finally settled the score. And I guess we could officially say the Rascals, aka MSK, are officially no more. And Wes Lee is obviously ready to make the next step, and who, like you said, it could be the NXT title that could be his next target. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, nothing more to say. Fletch, it's a sad ending to what was once a great brotherhood, but Wes Lee came out on top
and gave us quite a battle, man. That was a hell of a fight, and yeah, you could even make an argument maybe second best fight of the night.
3.5 to 4 is my rating. I think I gave it that. Yeah. Did I?
Just now. 3.
Oh, all right. I just wanted to make sure I did.
Yep, 3.5 to 3 3/4 is my rating for the match. It was an amazing bout. It was a great fight. It was hard hitting. It was brutal. It was all over the place. It is exactly what NXT needed it to be, and they soaked it up. That was an absolute banger of a match. There was really nothing more for us to say there. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Next up was a special Miz TV. They had Tony D'Angelo and Obafemi, and they actually did announce that they're gonna do it next week from St. Louis, Missouri. NXT North American title on the line. Obafemi versus Tony D'Angelo. Michael Bullock, I gotta admit, this was actually a better Miz TV than even I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, going into this, I thought it would be, I'll just say it like this. I thought it would be solid, but not overly spectacular. But this turned out to be much better than what I expected. And you could just see the fire start to be lit back in Tony D'Angelo. Feel like he's ready to take that North American title this time. and he's going to get that opportunity next week in St. Louis. But will he get the job done this time? Only time will tell. Because right now, it's tough for me to go against Obafemi right now because he is without a doubt, one of the most dominant NXT North American champions we've seen in a long time. But this is St. Louis. NXT's on the road. You never know. It could be something different. We'll see come next week. So it's yours, Pledge.
I'm going to openly admit this. I think this was the best work by both men in a very long time. I think this was personal best for Obafemi, personal best for Tony D'Angelo. I actually enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good job with it. I ate it up. I really ate this segment up. I think they did a really good job hyping the match, doing everything that they needed it to do. Miz was there just to, to be what he needed it to be. But they the fans tried to hijack the moment by doing the what chants. But Tony D'Angelo was good enough that he actually made the quiet simmer down on that. So I think they did a really good job with it. Solid promos. People got hyped on it. And I'm just as hyped for the fight next week for the North American Championship. Anthony, yes, go.
You know it. Excuse me 1 second. All right. Whoop. Okay. While The Miz was barely, he was barely necessary in this exchange, it was a smart hype piece all around. Obafemi walked in as the favorite inside Allstate Arena in Chicago, but walked out the clear heel. The Don had to win over a difficult crowd, and he did so with confidence. Femi versus D'Angelo was a good match at No Mercy with little story. This rematch has a chance to solidify the legacy of both men in NXT, regardless of the result. It's likely the ruler will still walk out victorious, but the silver and black brand has done enough to sell that the Don could pull off the upset. By default, the segment of the night, no doubt about it. So with that, let's move on to our next match.
Next up we did have was Lola Vice and Jada Parker going up against Fatal Influence. Fatal Influence winning the match in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. By default, this was the worst fight of the night. And the thing was, there was nothing bad about the match. It was a solid match. There was a little bit of a miscommunication. Jada basically thought Lola hit her, which she did not. But Jada was mad enough that she bailed on her partner. That gave Fatal Influence the opening that they needed, and they got the job done and won the match. So next up, we did lead out to the main event. It's about a 2.5-star match. And now, Anthony, I give it to you.
By default, the worst fight of the night, even though it was not remotely bad at all. And this was the obvious odd match out on a loaded card, but NXT did give the competitors time enough to show out. Even if this lacked the same stakes as the rest of the card, the action was solid between four great athletes. Henley and Jane did not quite find their rhythm as a team, but Henley versus Vice was a major highlight exchange that should be revisited. It was nice to see Fatal Influence pick up such a statement win. This was a match they needed to win. It's a shame it was undercut so severely by the arrival of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
Yes.
As much as this delivered a crowd-pleasing moment, it was another case of undermining the momentum of the heel faction. What was the time of that again, MF? Like 8-9 minutes?
10:50.
10:50. That's that's harboring around 3.25 star level, or 3 to 3.25 stars for the effort here. So not much more to say on that. So now it's yours, Bullet. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a 3.25, and by default, it was the worst fight of the night, even though there wasn't anything bad about it at all. I mean, when you have your worst fight of the night being a 3.25 star match, that's when you know you got something good going on with your show. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, even though Lola never really hit Jada Parker obviously felt offended by it, and she bailed out on Lola Vice, and it basically became a 2-on-1 handicap match, Well, 3 when you include Jasmine Nix outside.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the win, and then they basically called out Kalani Jordan, who was at ringside for the North American Championship, and for a moment it looked like it was going to be a 3-on-1 beatdown, but Kalani was smart, saying, "You know what? I brought some backup." In the NXT, I mean not the NXT, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and next week we're getting that match.
Mm-hmm.
The NXT North American Champion Kalani Jordan and the Women's Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill against Fatal Influence. So we'll see what happens with that. So 3 3.25. Fletch, I mean, when you have your worst fight of the night being that kind of a rating, you know you're doing something good with this show.
Yeah. Just to give you guys a programming note, next week, like we said, was going to be from St. Louis, Missouri. It is going to be Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo for the NXT North American Championship. Also, just as Michael Bullock mentioned, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Kalani Jordan will be going up against all 3 members of Fatal Influence. And in the main event, Javon Evans will go one-on-one with St. Louis's own WWE superstar Randy Orton. That's all next week on NXT on the CW from St. Louis, Missouri. It leads us into the main event of the evening for the NXT Championship. The champion, All Ego Ethan Page, going up against Trick Williams with special guest referee CM Punk, the winner of the bout. 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And new NXT champion, Trick Williams. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Whoop that Trick!
What?
Yeah.
Whoop that Trick!
Uh-huh.
Whoop that Trick!
I like it.
Whoop that Trick!
Yeah.
Ha
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, man. He was on fire last night with that, let me tell you. First off, the whoop that trick in the IWC capital of the world.
That was insane.
You knew it would be. All right. Aren't you forgetting something there, Monsoon?
History was made and unprecedented crowning. It definitely was.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, as the confetti fell, Ethan Page got in CM Punk's face and took a GTS for his trouble. No, this was noticeably better than their match at Battleground, even though the two were a little off the mark with their strikes consistently. A hyped crowd and strong pace helped this bout shine. It felt important when Trick got the win and regained the title he should hold for a while to come. The side story of this match was Ethan Page versus CM Punk. It's likely the two will have a match after how much they were jaw-jacking during this bout. NXT can transition to Trick Williams versus Wes Lee, while Ethan Page gets a major rub working with the best in the world. I would give this an excess of 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Perfect outcome. The only outcome. So there isn't much more for me to say on that. Michael Bullock, whoop that trick indeed. He is once again the NXT champion, ending Ethan Page's run at 86 days.
Yeah, and some people say that this is the right move because, I mean, how long did Trick Williams have that title when he first won it? I mean,
a couple months here and there, about 2.5 months.
Some people said that it was. What'd you say?
Yeah, about like I was just agreeing with Florio. It is about a couple months.
Yeah, I mean, some people said it should have been a much longer reign for him, but hey, at least he's got his title back, and it looks like he's gonna have that target on his back once again. And like you said, it could be Wes Lee, and then like you said, we could be getting Punk and All Ego Ethan Page somewhere down the line, especially after the way those two have been jaw-jacking each other. So 3.25, 3.5 overall. or Fletch, did you give your thoughts on it yet?
Yeah, 3.25, 3.5. Absolutely right. By the way, he only held it for 75 days.
right.
The first reign for Trick Williams. So actually, 74 days. 74 days recognized. So 70. Yeah, he was only champion for only 74 days the first time around before he lost it to All Ego.
All right.
So yeah, 3.25, 3.5, solid main event, no doubt about it. I thought they did a really good job with it. I enjoyed it. I thought they again, great action, great matches. It was incredible how they did it. So there's really nothing more for me to say. And I'm going to give it off to Michael Bullock as we start off our
The overall
review.
review. Yeah, I mean, this was a very good first edition of NXT on the CW. I mean, and like I said before, when you have your worst fight of the night being a 3 to 3.25 star match, you know you're doing something good. So I'm gonna give this in excess of 8.5 out of 10 for this edition of NXT. Great. I mean, the crowd was great. The matches were great. I mean, everything. There was not one bad thing about this show. Were there some things they could have done better? Absolutely, there could have been. But there's really not that much to complain about. So 8.5 out of 10. It's yours, Fletch.
Total agreement. 8.5 out of 10. Perfect rating. Great show. Great first thing to jump it off. I think they did an incredible job with it. So yeah, no doubt about it. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
The hype was sky high for NXT's debut on the CW, and it led to a much different product than fans have seen in the past from this brand. The matches were longer and more competitive, hallelujah, and the hot crowd forced multiple wrestlers to play more to the audience than they have in the past. It was a good experience for a roster that needs consistent opportunities to grow. However, that did not mean it was a perfect night. No match completely stole the show, despite NXT booking 3 bouts that were meant to draw eyes. Instead, all 3 were good while hinting at better in the future. Roxanne Perez vs. Julia came up as an obvious first effort that allowed the two to get to know each other better. An inconclusive finish set the stage for a more chaotic women's division that suddenly had multiple money matches on the horizon. Ethan Page and Trick Williams do not have that chemistry necessary to lead NXT, but the right result puts the latter in position to carry the new era of the brand. Wes Lee versus Zachary Wentz was easily the fight of the night, even if it ran long and included a few miscues. It was helped by the clear desire of both men to do whatever it takes to steal the show. The CW for NXT was more or less a success, delivering a different vibe for the roster that is unlikely to be the norm going forward. Next week may be a better indication of NXT's long-term changes with its new broadcaster. 8.5 out of 10 for me. So with that, we move on from one big show to another, as tonight we celebrated 5 years to the day of the very first AEW Dynamite.
Yes, we did, and we started it out with a banger, man. We were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at the Patterson Event Center, which is, I believe, at the University of Pittsburgh, the home of the Pitt Panthers. And we started it out with a banger. It was Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. The fight ends in a no contest. 17 minutes, 40 seconds. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Of all, okay, I get it. It protects both men. But, oh, my God. I told you this was going to be a banger. I told you this was going to be amazing. I can't pull 5. There's no way I can do it. I can only go maybe 4.5 because of the ending. I wish I could go higher, but I feel a little bitter about the way that this ended because of Konosuke Takeshita basically causing the fight to end on controversial. So Anthony Florio, what could have been is the word I'm saying.
Yeah, thanks to Konosuke Takeshita. ruining it. 4.5 stars. I definitely agree. And believe it or not, this was actually the second best fight of the night. Go figure. There was actually one match that was better than this. Hard to believe. They had a fast-paced sequence that ended in a double black flip stalemate in AEW champs. They had already delivered a lot of great action before they were even in the ring for 10 minutes. There is way to do this justice with a description. Much like Ospreay's bout against Pac, this was two of the best high flyers in the world, combining their talents to put on a fantastic performance. It's been several years since these two were able to test each other, so we got to see them use all of the tricks they had picked up in that time. Considering it's unlikely to be their last encounter, it's good they left room to grow, but it's hard to think of many ways they could outdo themselves. We saw them counter a lot of each other's big moves and even steal a few from each other before it finally ended, with both men's shoulders being down when the aerial assassin pinned Ricochet. It was ruled as a draw, much to the crowd's chagrin. Both men indicated they wanted the match to be restarted, so Tony Khan told them to keep going. They began trading strikes, and Ospreay hit a hidden blade, only for Konosuke Takeshita to attack him to cause the ref to call for the bell. And he left both men down and out before posing with Ospreay's title. So 4.5 stars, and believe it or not, that's only the second best fight of the night. There was a match that was actually better. Can't believe I'm saying that, but usually when you hear a 4.5 star rating, you're usually thinking, "Oh, fight of the night." Nope, there was one match that was actually better. You know where I'm going with it. So,
Yep.
4.5 stars. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, like you said, that this is the second best fight of the night. I mean, 4.5 stars. I mean, yeah, I'm just so upset. I mean, that this ended like that. I mean, I thought this would be a 5-star match that was just waiting to happen, but Konosuke Takeshita basically he ruined it for everyone, and but like you said, it basically protects them. But man, I was just so enjoying it until that ending. But 4.5 stars. It's yours.
All
Fletch.
right. And with that said, we will go into the next fight of the night, which was let's see, was it Hangman? Yeah, because there was a lot of promo stuff right after that. So the next actual in-ring match that we had was Adam Hangman Page versus Juice Robinson, and Hangman winning the match in 10 minutes and 5 seconds. So Anthony, it's yours.
What was the time once again?
10:05.
10:05. That's about 3.25 star status here. And both men got in some solid offense and made this feel more competitive than expected. Hangman dominating wouldn't have been a surprise, but it felt like Juice Robinson was hitting bigger moves. Page won with a sneaky low blow, followed by a buckshot lariat. And look who's back in AEW. Business has picked up, much to the chagrin of MF. Jay White, Switchblade. He made his return and took down Hangman. He chased Hangman into the crowd and put him through a table. 3 to 3.25 stars. Not much more to say. You see the news bit from Bullock, so not much more to say. Bullock, it's yours. 3.25.
Yeah, 3.25 for me as well. I mean, this was a good match. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, I mean, Hangman had to take a cheap way with the low blow before hitting that buckshot lariat. But yeah, Jay White, I mean, returns to save Juice Robinson from further trouble here. So I'm smelling Jay White and Hangman Adam Page in the future. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe so as well. It was fine for what it was worth. So yeah, really nothing more to add. So I'd say about 3.5. I think they did a really good job with it. And yeah, now we move on to the next fight of the night, which was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, going up against Serena Deeb. And it was the Good Doctor winning the match in 11 minutes and 35 seconds. Lockjaw submission. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
What was the time of the fall again?
11:35.
Yeah, I'll give this about another maybe 3.25 on this one. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously they had to give the win to Britt Baker because, hello, this is her hometown of Pittsburgh. There was no way you were going to have her lose in Pittsburgh. So, and the interesting thing during the match was Mariah May was out there watching the match. I wonder why she had an interest in this, because as you know, she's got someone already going maybe after her title in Willow Nightingale. I don't know. So there's really nothing more to say. 3 1/4. It's your Sledge.
Yeah, about 3. I'll say 3. I thought they did a really good job with the match. There's really not much more to add there, so we're just gonna Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, about 3 1/4 or so. Serena Deeb is known as the professor of technical wrestling, which she is. So she seemed to dominate the early part of the bout and kept the pace at her liking. Britt also tends to prefer a technical style, so these two worked well together. Baker did a good job countering some of Deeb's signature offense, while the professor made DMD look good by giving her a lot of energy. Solid effort from both competitors, but Baker was able to pick up a win with her signature lockjaw submission. Serena attacked Britt after the match, but then was interrupted by Queen Aminata. It's clear their rivalry's not over by a long shot. So this was a solid 3 1/4 star bout. So not much more to say except we actually do have a cutout before we get to our huge main event.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did have a cutout. It was Private Party going up against the Iron Savages. Private Party winning the match in 1 minute and 5 seconds. So we do indeed move on to the main event of the evening. And this was a very unique situation. So it was Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada, and both the AEW World Title and the AEW Continental Championships were both on the line. Now, wait, there is a caveat. In the first 20 minutes, Okada's title is on the line. Once the 20-minute time limit elapsed, then his belt is off the table, and the remaining match, which was a 1-hour time limit, would have been only for the AEW World Championship at that point. The winner of the bout in 31 minutes and 45 seconds, therefore, the Continental title did indeed come off the board, but still, the AEW World Champion, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Who leads off on this? Is it Anthony or is it Michael Bullock?
I lead off.
All right, Anthony, it's yours.
Fight of the night. I'm pulling the trigger. 5-star classic, man. This was a fantastic choice to put in the main event spot because they delivered a great performance. Danielson pinned Okada with a backslide because the Rainmaker was distracted by Claudio in the crowd. The former BCC attacked the American Dragon while Jon Moxley said none of this is about him. Wheeler Yuta chased him off with a hammer, but Mox stood tall and almost dared him to use it. And then Wheeler Yuta grabbed a mic and said he and Bryan Danielson will face Pac and Claudio Castagnoli on a special Tuesday night edition of AEW Dynamite that's going down this Tuesday night, 9 p.m. start time. So we got something to think about, guys. Something to definitely think about if we want to do the show on Tuesday or save it for our traditional Wednesday night. That's something to think about. So, but anyways, definitely a 5-star battle. This was technical wrestling at its finest. I enjoyed every second of it, and that's really all I can say on that. So, outcome never in doubt. But boy, howdy, what a journey it was. That's all I can say. So 5-star classic for me. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock. Interesting match. Continental belt on the line for the first 20. It then went out of play. And our man, our favorite yes man, does it again. Bryan Danielson still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And Tuesday night on the special Tuesday Dynamite, Danielson and Yuta versus Claudio and Pac. Oh boy.
Yeah, that should be something really good there. So I'm with Florio. I'm giving this the 5-star rating here. I mean, but then again, when you got the likes of Danielson and Okada in this, you know you're in for something special, and that's what we got here. So they certainly left it all on the line here. So there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So Fletch, are we going to make it unanimous, or are you lone wolfing it and giving it a different rating?
No, I gotta give it the full 5. It deserves the full 5. I'm not gonna lone wolf this one. It definitely was a great matchup. It was a great outcome, and yeah, no, there's really nothing more for me to say there. So yeah, I'm giving it the full 5, and we do indeed move on. And it's overall review. Michael Bullock, you lead off. Bullock, you gotta unmute your mic, bro.
Oh,
you muted it.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a good show. I mean, yes, you only had one cutout here, but you had a lot of promo stuff, but you had a lot of good matches here. So I'm gonna go right around the same rate with the NXT, 8.5 out of 10. So it's yours, Fletch.
I'm actually in a full agreement with this. I'm going to go 8.5 out of 10 as well. I thought they did a really good show. If you really want to be technical, I might even give it 8 3/4 out of 10. And actually say that AEW was just a smidgen better than the NXT, but not by much. But they both serve the same purpose. Great, excellent matchup, great event. There was one cutout where in NXT there was no cutouts. So actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna amend it. 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give NXT the victory on this one. So 8 out of 10 is my rating. Anthony, it's yours, and then we'll set up Thursday Night Football.
Well, we also have the Bad Blood pay-per-view to address too. So, but anyways, for our 5-year anniversary show, it was interesting how few videos AEW showed to commemorate the biggest moments, but that left more time for action. Another interesting thing is how few people from AEW's beginning were featured in matches. Will Ospreay, Ricochet, Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada, Juice Robinson, and a few other people who were featured in non-wrestling segments all showed up after AEW was going strong. Baker versus Deeb and Page versus Robinson were both solid matches. Private Party versus Iron Savages was shorter than, well, obviously that was a cutout, duh. The two best bouts easily, Ricochet versus Ospreay and Danielson versus Okada. Each bout provided a completely different vibe. If you like fast-paced, high-flying action, Ricochet and Ospreay delivered. If you like a more technical and hard-hitting style, Okada and Danielson had you covered. An above-average episode of Dynamite, but it's hard to say it did a good job making the anniversary feel like a big deal. 8 out of 10, so MF, it's yours.
All right, you know what? We'll rapid fire everything else from here on in. Okay. We'll start off with the Thursday Night Football because obviously that's going to be tomorrow night. So we're going to go into the NFL. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go into Atlanta, go into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on the Atlanta Falcons. 3-1 versus 2-2. You already know the breakdown. You know who does the game because it's on Amazon Prime Video. Al Michaels, Kirk Street, Kaylee Hartung has the call for you guys on that. And I believe Atlanta is only a 1.5 point favorite going in. I don't know, Anthony, if you got a different spread on mine, but I got 1.5 on my end.
No, you're right. Mine also says 1.5 for Atlanta.
Okay, so at least we're on the same page on that one. Now,
yes.
This is an interesting matchup because, like I said, going into this, it kind of felt like Atlanta. I don't know what we were going to get from the Atlanta Falcons, but I will say this, man, they've been looking a lot more better than they did a couple of weeks ago. Atlanta coming off a major win. They knocked off the Saints. They beat their division opponent. They won the game last week, 26-24. Now they got a big Thursday night game, and of course, we know what Tampa Bay did, stomping the daylights out of the Philadelphia Eagles, 33-16. Yikes! Or in the immortal words of Anthony Florio, "Oofa," as he would normally say. I kind of gotta give the advantage to Tampa though. I kind of feel like they're more dialed in right now. You don't really know what you're gonna get from Atlanta. It's kind of a mixed bag here. I'm kind of a little torn. You can openly admit that this may be the toughest game to call this week. Other than the other matchups, we'll get into the rest of the games on Saturday. But I digress. Actually, on Friday, but I digress. I'm going to go with Tampa to win this game. I'm going to go 28-24. I'm going to say Tampa knocks off Atlanta. Anthony, it's yours.
For those of you in the Tampa and Atlanta areas who do not have Amazon Prime Video, fear not, you can watch the game on your respective Fox affiliates. Tampa, that's WTVT Fox 13 in Tampa. And in Atlanta, it's WAGA Fox 5 in Atlanta. So your respective Fox affiliates, for those of you who do not have Prime Video. Now then, all-time series, Tampa Bay leads it 31-30. Oof, that's close. 31-30 in favor of Tampa. Last year in Atlanta, Tampa won 29-25. Atlanta's last win over Tampa at home the year before, 2022, that was a 30-17 final. This should be an entertaining Thursday night game. The Buccaneers have been great around Baker Mayfield, who ranks 4th in the NFL in passer rating at about 107. It's technically 106.9, but I'm rounding it to 107. Can the Falcons, who have 4 sacks this season, get enough pressure on Mayfield to force a few turnovers? Tampa Bay has won 3 of the last 4 meetings at Atlanta. The Falcons' last 3 games have been decided by a combined total of 8 points. I agree, MF. I too have Tampa Bay winning this game as well. My final score, a little lower than what you have it, but it's still up there. I'm going to go 26-21. Tampa Bay defeats Atlanta. So, Michael Bullock, are we going to make it unanimous? Or are you going to lone wolf this and go with Atlanta?
No, I'm making it unanimous. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this one as well. I mean, it should be close, but I think Tampa will pull it out at the end. So, yeah, nothing more for me to say. Let's quickly get into our preview of Bad Blood.
All right, and we do indeed will do that. 5 matches on the fight card, guys. And we will start this baby off with the Women's World Championship on the line. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan, with the added caveat that Dominic Mysterio is going to be locked and suspended above the ring in a shark cage. All right. I said it once. I'll say it again. Going into the match, I know a lot of people have been talking about that Rhea should win this title, but I don't believe she's gonna. I think Dom will find a way to get involved. The Judgment Day will get involved in that fight. And thus, I believe when it's all said and done, that Liv Morgan will successfully defend the title. I'm going with Liv to win it. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, it's going to be Liv. I expect Liv to retain after Dom somehow escapes the inescapable shark cage, and for this women's title to continue to sit dormant. So, winner and still the women's world champion, it is Liv Morgan. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going with Liv Morgan to retain the title. I think Dominic's going to find a way to get involved, escape that shark cage, and be the X Factor. So, Liv Morgan retained. Let's move on, Fletch.
Next up, we got is Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, 1-on-1. Anthony.
Yeah. This honestly can go either way. It really can. But if I'm going to be honest with you, the feud between these two has essentially had the same segments as Liv and Rhea. So it's all one intertwined deal. I expect the rest of Judgment Day to interfere, as I think Finn Balor will get the win here to extend this deal. And with with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley's friend, main event Jey Uso, winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, I could see Finn Balor using this win to get himself a shot at that title down the road. So I'm actually going to go with Finn Balor to win this match. Just like with Liv, it's going to be by nefarious means. So I'm going with Finn Balor to win this match. So Michael Bullock, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm going with Finn Balor as well. I mean, I think it's going to be the same thing. It's through various means, aka the Judgment Day getting involved here. So Fletch, according to me and Florio, it's not going to be a good night for the Terror Twins. What says you?
I totally am in agreement here. I don't believe it's going to be a good night for the Terror Twins. I think it's going to be the same outcome. I also have Finn Balor knocking off and winning the match and successfully defend and possibly parlaying this to a possible WWE Intercontinental opportunity.
And basically, Fletch, they're Finn Balor, not just Liv Morgan, but Finn Balor, they're going to send a message and basically saying the Judgment Day is stronger without you two.
Yeah.
The Judgment Day didn't need you guys. We're stronger and we're better without you.
They could, if they pull this off, they will, no doubt. Next up, we got is Hell in a Cell. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. What is being labeled as the final battle. Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
Yeah, like you said, this is the final chapter, and I'm going to say it. It's going to be one of the most brutal Hell in a Cell matches we've seen in a long time. I mean, with the way this rivalry is gone, I just think we're going to see a lot of blood. I mean, we're going to see a lot of uncomfortable things in this. So, but I think there's only one way this is going to end. I think CM Punk wins this because I think after this, because remember, before Drew McIntyre attacked him, who was CM Punk targeting?
He was targeting Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion.
And I think for the only way for that to happen for the next, I think CM Punk has to go over and then move on to Gunther. That's what I see happening. It's yours, Fletch.
I believe so. I think that could. The only problem is now he might have to deal with All Ego Ethan Page. And that rivalry might cause a little bit of some interesting situations there. But I do agree. I do believe that it will be CM Punk going over. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, it's going to be Punk here. I mean, it has to. I mean, it's the only way. It's the only way. I mean, do we expect the violence that Punk and McIntyre are building? I mean, we definitely do. I mean, Punk promised violence that we had never seen before in the build for the SummerSlam match, and we didn't really get that. I mean, we're not expecting a Texas Death Match here, but we're hopeful that the company can get out of the way and let these two have a match with the amount of violence and hate that one would want in the blow-off of a 9-month-long feud ending inside Hell in a Cell. There was a taste of it in the strap match. And these are two talented, smart wrestlers. Just get out of the way and let them work. Punk wins, and then he moves on to challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe at Survivor Series. So we'll have to wait and see. So that's the rumor I heard. So CM Punk wins. And next up, we have the battle for the WWE Women's Championship coming up next.
Yes, we do. It's going to be Nia Jax versus Bayley for the title. I think it's going to be Nia. I don't know why. I just feel like Nia's going to keep the belt. I think Bailey's going to make it a little interesting, but I think Nia's going to hold off. I don't think we're going to get a cash in on this one, but I do believe it's getting closer. I think we are getting closer to Tiffany Stratton cashing in the Money in the Bank on Nia, and that Tiffany will be the one to be the next women's champion. But I just don't believe this is the moment, and I don't believe it's yet. Not yet. Winner and still champion, Nia Jax. Anthony, it's yours.
Nia retains with another Tiffany tease, because if there's a story to be told in WWE, it's to be told at an incredibly slow pace. In other words, the philosophy of Papa H's booking, long-term booking. So, winner and still WWE Women's Champion, it's Nia Jax, whether we like it or not. So, Bullock, I know you're going to go that way, but your thought?
Yeah, I'm going with Nia Jax to retain. I mean, we're gonna get closer to a cash in by Tiffany Stratton. We just don't know when it's gonna happen. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
Main event of the evening, a tag team fight, as it will be the Bloodline. It will be Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. They will be going up against the OTC, Roman Reigns, and the WWE Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Anthony Florio, you lead off on the main event.
Okay, let's figure out a finish by process of elimination. Roman is not losing, point blank, period. Solo is a non-factor, but he can't get pinned yet, as Roman is chasing his spot as the Tribal Chief, complete with their own accessory in the Ula Fala. That leaves Jacob Fatu, who is getting the Rocket Pack push, and the WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. They've been ultra protective of Fatu, having had him win the tag titles with Tama Tonga before having him transfer the title to Tonga Loa off of a kayfabe injury. He doesn't lose, he barely sells, and he took Roman Reigns down when none of the other Bloodline members could. I think they clearly have plans for Fatu, and I believe those plans include having him pin Cody Rhodes to set up Cody's next title defense. I mean, I know the safe choice would be for Cody and Roman to win this match, but I'm going to throw a curveball here. I'm going to say the Bloodline wins this match. Jacob Fatu is going to pin Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu is going to set himself up as the next challenger for the WWE Championship. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Michael Bullock, how do you follow that?
Wow. I totally did not expect that. I mean, well, he wanted to throw a curveball, and he gave us one. But this is tough. But I'm actually, for the first time tonight, and maybe the only time tonight, I disagree with you, Anthony Florio. I'm going with Cody Rhodes and the OTC Roman Reigns to win this one. So it's yours, Fletch.
You know what? I was thinking about it too. But then I noticed something happened. Remember on the SmackDown where he basically called up Jacob Fatu? Jacob got up on the apron and Solo kind of was like, "What are you doing? Get down." And Jacob did. I don't think he's going to do that this time around. I honestly, you know what? I think Anthony Florio's onto something. And I hate to do this, Bullock, but you're a lone wolf in this one. Because I actually believe that I think Florio's right. I think this is going to happen. So I didn't think about it, but then I went back and I'm like, wait a minute. They are giving them the big push. They are giving them an opportunity. Jacob Fatu is the strongest member of the Bloodline. He is stronger than Solo. He's been stronger than the Gorillas of Destiny. He's been the you could say, the alpha of the group. And there was thought that, and remember, Cody tried to challenge Jacob one time for the WWE title. Jacob jumped up. Solo looked at him like, no. Step down. I will say this. I think it's going to happen. I think I think the Bloodline wins it. I actually believe Jacob will indeed be the one to get the win on Cody Rhodes. So, Anthony, I'm actually agreeing with you on this one. So I'm really sticking my neck out on this one, because if this goes wrong, I'm blaming you for this call. But if you're that confident enough, then I'm going to line with you on this one. So I'm going to.
If I'm wrong, I will go on the record and say I will accept full responsibility.
So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with the Bloodline to win it. Jacob to actually beat Cody Rhodes and actually make him the next contender, because it'll be a championship committee moment. And I think it'll open the door for him to get the shot at the undisputed WWE championship. So I agree. All right. So that's it. We're done. We're out of here, folks. So tomorrow night, College Football Thursday, hosted by Anthony Florio at 10:30. Anthony, we got some good matches on this week's college football.
We got a total of 17 games on the docket. 2 Friday games, if you can imagine that. Not 1, but 2 Friday games. Yes. We got a great sleeper matchup here. How about Syracuse versus number 25 UNLV? There's a sleeper matchup for you. And how about Michigan State squaring off against number 6 Oregon? But 2 notable games. Number 9 Missouri going up against number 25 Texas A&M. You can make that the default game of the week, because that's the only matchup where ranked teams are against each other. But there are some other solid matchups. Number 4 Tennessee against Arkansas. Number 3 Ohio State at home against Iowa. Auburn and Georgia, we know what they're capable of. Ole Miss against South Carolina. Miami against Cal. But for all intents and purposes, the true game of the week, number 10 Michigan at Washington, the rematch of last January's college football playoff national championship game. Michigan won the championship back in January. I'll never forget it. It was one of the great moments we've had on the history of our program. That night when we did it, I'll never forget it. And, celebrating that moment with you guys. And will they celebrate again, or will Washington get their revenge? You never know. So just some of the action that will go down tomorrow. 17 games total, 2 Fridays, 15 Saturdays, 17 total, 10:30 tomorrow night. Week number 6 already? Where has the time gone, man? Seriously.
I know. Tell me about it, man. It's wild. It's wild.
What a time to be alive, though. What a time to be alive. College football, NFL, baseball playoffs. Hockey comes back next week. And then 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks after that, we got the NBA. Dude.
I know, bro. I know.
See you all tomorrow night.
We'll see you all. Yeah, exactly. And then Friday night, we do it all over again. College, it's going to be NFL Friday, as we'll be previewing all the action on that one. And then on Saturday, Cerebral Smack Talk, where we will indeed recap the Bad Blood. We got SmackDown Live. We also got, and I'll also give you my thoughts on AEW Collision. So we got that coming up as well. There's really nothing more to say. So thank you very much, Anthony Floyer. Thank you very much, Michael Bullock. Thank you guys, as always. Like the video, leave a comment, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. And until then, we will see you all tomorrow night for College Football Thursday, right here on the family of networks of TXN. Have a good night, everybody. And so long for now. Bye-bye.